Welcome to Habitat for Humanity Malawi Build. We are one of the leading housing institutions in Malawi, giving shelter to the vulnerable people and responding to disaster. In this tutorial, we are going to show you the basic construction steps to our 3-room traditional house. I'll be your host, architect and quantity surveyor William Kachkopa. And in this video, and for the institution, I am being positioned as a construction coordinator. So what are we looking at for foremost in the construction site? Safety. As we all know, we're building in a community that is encumbered with youngsters and elderly people who are not conversant with construction methodologies. So we have to first look at the safety of the site. As you can see around us, we have got a fencing line with a barricade that is just to indicate as a danger zone of the construction site. And behind me, we have got a team that is working. As you can see them, they are in their full protection gear. And at this point in time, let's talk about our safety gears. Our men working on site need to be in their safety gears. And that's from the feet, we're looking at safety boots and or gumboots. We're looking at profound work suits, and we're looking at hard hats. Above all, we know that construction sees no weather and no time. So they need to be in their reflector vests so that they can be seen from afar that that is a working zone. Now, let's talk a little bit about the construction team. In our project, we are involving a number of personnel formulating or coming up with a construction team. And when we're looking at the construction team, we have foremost at the top of the list, we have the construction specialist. His responsibility is to make sure that he authorizes all construction works within the Habitat for Humanity Malawi. Next to him is the construction coordinator. So he is the designer and the quantifier and the manager of all construction works. After him, we have the field officer and the building supervisor. Now these make sure that all the construction requirements are available on ground and they manage the works on ground. After them, we have the local trained masons or artisans, and these are the communal members who already have the skill, but then we sharpen them in according to construction guidelines and the standards of construction so that we can raise or erect houses that are sound, safe and reliable. So construction, what is it all about? We break it down into 3 major phases. First is the substructure phase. This is where we look at site selection, site preparation, and at the same time we look at the excavation of the foundation trenches. And after we do that, we erect our plinth wall, which is our foundation wall. And when we do that, we move to the next step, that is the superstructure level. So the superstructure level is where we're going to elect our building materials, whether be it bricks or blocks or SSBs. And then we're going to elect to the gable level or gable point, and then we do the roof members, and finally we are going to do the roofing. And when we complete this structure, the final most stage is when we do the finishing works. But let me give you a little more detail of all these steps one by one. So what are we talking about the foundation? Or first, let's start with the site selection. As we're doing site selection, we need to make sure that our ground is well leveled up. If it is not, then it is our duty to make sure that the ground is well leveled up so that when we are doing the setting out of the house, the walls are well leveled up to avoid imbalanced levels and or unbalanced load bearings to our soils. And this is going to help in the stability of the foundation or the house. As we have selected our site, we have to make sure that it is well leveled. And after leveling it out, we have to do our setting out. So when we do our setting out, we'll do the perimeter distances of our structure, which is our house in this case, and then we're going to excavate foundation trenches. Our foundation trenches should be a minimum of 0.7 meters, which is 700 mm. This will enable us to have at least a good concrete footing and then a good plinth wall height. And our plinth wall height should surface 600 mm, which is 60 centimeters or 0.6 meters above the ground level. This is going to make our house safe from floods, and it is going to be well raised that you will not have animals or anything else just moving in and out of the house without being checked. After we build our foundation walls, we need to backfill. And we do not just backfill with any kind of soil or any kind of material. We do select our materials very well, and we should make sure that our soils that we use for backfill are those that are of less organisms, which are not topsoil. So after we do our backfill, we come up with hardcore preparation. If it's not hardcore preparation, then we can do the gravel finish, well compact it, and then we come up with a DPM. This is a damp-proof membrane. It's a black sheet of paper with a minimum of 500 microns gauge, which we use to block the water from the submerged soil to penetrate into the surface of a building. And after we do this, we cast our concrete slab. We vary the concrete slab, it depends on the usage of the house. But in case of this house, we're going to do a 1:4 concrete mix ratio, and we're going to have it meshed. And we're going to use the A98 concrete mesh, which we're going to use on these structures. Now that we're done with our foundation level, we have to tackle with the superstructure wall. So the superstructure wall is the wall that we're going to build from the slab level all the way to the gable point of the house. And in this wall, as to the background, we are doing some corner blocks. And with the corner blocks, we are trying to come up or electing a wall that is going to be a guide for the entire house. So when we do this, we need to check some two crucial points. We need to make sure that we have a gauge rod, which is the thickness of the mortar that we're using, to be well aligned and uniform throughout the walls. And we also have to make sure that the walls are perpendicular. And we're going to use a spirit level to make sure that we achieve the perpendicular angles to the walls as we are supposed to elevate them. In this phase, we're looking at the walls, we have the window openings and the door openings. Plus, on top of that, we come up with either the ring beam or the lintels. Now that we have built our superstructure wall, we want to elect our roof. So, as we do that, we now have to make sure that we select good roofing members. And in this traditional house, we're using timber for rafters and purlins. And then we're going to use iron sheets for coverage. So, the roofing nature that we're applying is called a gable roof. So this is going to slope two different sides, two different directions. You can pick either be it west or east or north and south. So as we do that, we have a guideline from our drawing set, which is going to give us the pitch of the roof slope. And when we do that, we're going to elect the roof using nails to anchor the roof members.
Hi, my name is Bernadetta and I am the Global Village host for the Habitat for Humanity Malawi program. And I am going to talk about the welfare of volunteers at a build site. First of all, I'm going to talk about the shade and the need for resting. At all of our builds, we're going to have a shade or a tent and chairs for volunteers to be going to rest whenever they need to rest. There's also going to be water enough for everyone because everyone is expected to drink at least 2 liters of water every day because it gets very sunny during the day. Apart from that, volunteers are also encouraged to be using sunscreen when applying it liberally to themselves during the day as they are going to be on the build site because it gets really hot in Malawi. Volunteers are also encouraged to be doing the work that they are comfortable with. For instance, if they are assigned a task that they do not feel comfortable to do, they are free to mention it to the host coordinator or to the building supervisor on site, and then they can be assigned a different task they are comfortable with.